Good morning. It's Friday, April 5th, and it must be time for another update from your North Carolina Medical Society. We're 40 days in. Yes, here we are. First time up this week, first big bill up this week was the state health plan. We had two big votes for that this week.
Back to back.
Back-to-back votes.
One vote out of the House Rules Committee where we had or a couple dissenting votes within that committee, and then made it to the floor, had a brief a caucus meeting after waiting for the House. So we were a little bit nervous on what the votes would look like then, but actually had an amendment on the floor to add the treasurer as a voting member to the study commission.
So this would make him the 18th voting member of the study commission. And remember that while this holds up his ability to start reference-based pricing in January, it doesn't eliminate it forever. It says that this commission is going to make a recommendation on how to move forward with this. So 75 members of the House voted for this, 36 voted against it, and it's moved on now to the Senate for consideration. We also had the helmet bill we thought was going to be on the calendar this week.
Right, but was just pulled from the committee, and then we also got a committee referral to the House Health Committee for that bill as well, so we're glad that that will have to go through another hurdle if it does go through transportation eventually. That's
right, and remember this one has to do with whether you should be required to wear a helmet if you're an adult. So 21 or over, a year experience on a motorcycle, you took a safety class, you ought to be able to ride down the road without a helmet.
But the title's a little bit misleading.
Yeah. And we don't agree with the fact that you should be able to ride without a helmet at any time, no matter what training you've been through. Last bill that we want to highlight for actually moving this week was the medical board bill. This has to do with your licensure, so we wanted to keep you up to date. Another proposed committee substitute ran with some slight modifications.
A couple questions within the committee.
Couple of questions, yeah. This was in the House Judiciary Committee, but everything ran smooth, got a clean vote, and that now goes to House Finance Committee. And that would be the last committee stop, the rules, which is kind of everything runs through the rules right before it goes to the floor. So the last substantive committee will be Finance. We hope that will be next week, and that one will keep on progressing.
Right, but a number of bills filed this week. I mean, it seemed like we were getting hundreds every day with the end of bill filing deadline for the Senate closing in. One we want to point out to you is the naturopathic licensure, and if you remember, that was a study committee that passed last session. So this is a product of that study committee that would allow them to create their own licensing board and has some more details in that. It's like a 20-page long-ish bill, so a lengthy one.
It's a licensure bill, so those are always going to be long. We also had an assignment of benefit bill introduced this week. This would make sure that patients could assign payment from themselves directly to the provider. This is something that was actually dealt with in an amendment last year in a technical corrections bill, but was removed by amendment.
Last minute on the floor.
That's right. That's right. Kind of a dramatic thing during the last session. Now it's a standalone bill this year. A lot of co-sponsors on this, so we were excited to see some enthusiasm around that bill.
So I'd love for you to talk to your legislators back home about supporting this one and what it would mean to you and your patients.
Most definitely. In addition to that, we had a pharmacy benefit manager bill put forward this week. It deals with a lot of things around PBMs, and with pharmaceuticals being such a hot topic of cost conversation, we think this is an important bill to be watching. We're going to break that one down because, like I said, it has a lot of different elements.
So already on the blog, and I categorized it by the different sections within the bill. So if you're interested in just one area, that's a good place to look for that bill.
Okay.
One other bill that was filed this week that we know that you will be interested in is the birth center licensure bill. With all of the news around this issue last session, legislators really wanted to put forward some recommendations on how we license birth centers in the state. Right.
And this is clear regulation. It's something that's been worked on by the OBs, the nurse midwives, the Department of Health and Human Services. So we're hoping that this bill is pretty close to what it's going to be, but I would expect that because it's a regulatory bill, it's going to change 2, 3, 4, 10 times between now and when it passes.
So a lot of stakeholder involvement in this bill to prepare it before it was filed into session. So we were expecting this one to come out.
Right. As Sue Ann said, it was Senate bill filing deadline, so 150 bills were introduced the last day of filing. So she's been busy and the blog has been crazy. So if you are looking for a bill, this time you're going to have to scroll down a little bit more to find something that you looked at previously, but go forth and look at more of the details there. more CON bills. I think we're up to 5 or 6
6 of
now.
those.
Social issue bills, like abortion, we're up to 6+ bills there. So there's a lot of stuff dangling out there that we don't really have time to go over
Yeah,
today.
for that and public health.
Oh,
A
gosh.
number of appropriations bills specifically
Right.
for specific legislators' communities. I mean, there are just a ton of health-related bills being filed.
Yeah. So check out the blog. We'll be back to you next week to highlight the big bills, just like we've done this week. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to start some more communication on the blog about what you're thinking about these bills, to get your insights and some anecdotal stories to start communicating with legislators. So reach out to us there.
Also want to say thank you to Dr. Lisa Gangarosa from UNC for coming for White Coat Wednesday this week. It was great to have her around the building.
Yep. And the emergency physicians made a big showing as well. And we had a couple of doctors of the day this week.
Yep.
So good week all the way around. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.